Howdy, y'all. I'm Justin.
And I'm Kim.
Welcome to Cowboys Like Us, the podcast where we talk about Taylor Swift and her music. Yeehaw. Hello, and welcome back to Cowboys Like Us, the only podcast currently aiding and abetting a Canadian super pig invasion of the United States. Today, we are talking about No Body, No Crime. But first, I just want to give a little shout out to Mac, who gave us a comment on our Ivy episode, and he said he missed the poll, but he would have voted it a 10. Well, not to worry, Mac, because we had not yet announced the Ivy audience score, so I went ahead and put yours in there. I got you, dog. Don't even trip. Poll results, Mac and the rest of you voted, and Ivy got a 9.
Decent.
Yep, solid. It's about as high as you can get. I assume All Too Well will get a 10, probably, but
We'll see.
other than that, any sort of mass voting, 9 is pretty good. Let's just jump right into news, because we got a bunch.
Yeah, so much news.
A lot of stuff happened. News from around the Taylorverse. So, Taylor is currently in Brazil. She played 3 nights in Rio, and we're going to get into it because it was a lot.
Yeah.
It started off well enough. The mayor of Rio put a Welcome to Brazil t-shirt projection onto the Christ the Redeemer statue that you've all seen. It looked like the You Belong With Me shirt.
The Junior Jules shirt.
That's the one.
Yep.
The Christian right reacted about how you'd think to that, but everyone else thought it was cool and a nice gesture.
Yeah, the people who were freaking out just need to be reminded that it's not like Taylor was the first person to do this. She didn't even do this. The mayor had it done. And they do this for everything.
Yep, it's kind of their thing.
So it's almost like she has nothing to do with it. If you have
And
a problem with it, maybe take it up with the mayor.
it was also used for charity. Father Omar, who is in charge of the church associated with the statue, challenged Swifties to raise 20,000 units of Pantone and water, and if they did so, he'd put up the projection. And Swifties rose to the challenge, and the projection went up as promised. The mayor of Rio, Mr. Eduardo País, said, quote, "Just to tell you Taylor Swift fans, the Swifties, tonight Christ the Redeemer will honor her presence. She is the Michael Jackson of modern times, and for me, Madonna. Anyway, the oldest ones here have other records, but we're going to have Taylor Swift duly honored for her arrival in Rio de Janeiro. Welcome, Taylor Swift, and stay happy, Swifties. Thanks." That is a translation from Portuguese, so
Okay.
it probably made more sense in Portuguese.
Okay.
But after the big welcome, things quickly took an unfortunate turn. On the opening night of Taylor's 3-night stay in Rio, it was a very hot night, and the venue reportedly blocked off some of the stadium's ventilation so as to prevent people from outside being able to see into the venue.
Which is really stupid.
And consequently, the floor had a heat index of 140 degrees Fahrenheit, which you might recognize as extremely hot, and it was like that for large portions of the evening. And naturally, this quickly became a problem. It was not helped by the fact that fans who were at the show were not allowed to bring in their own water bottles. They had to buy it at a huge markup, like all venues do. And plus, if you waited outside the venue for hours to get in and get a good spot in the GA, you're not going to want to go get water and give up your spot that you waited for.
Mm-hmm.
So people were having to choose between hydration and seeing Taylor up close, and so people made the wrong choices, unfortunately. Understandably, but unfortunately. Taylor and her team attempted to circumvent some of this by bringing a large quantity of bottled water in themselves. And throughout the show, Taylor and her team kept an eye on the audience, gave out water to fans who they saw that looked like they needed it, including a moment where Taylor herself stopped playing the guitar and heaved a bottle into the crowd like a football. It was probably a good 20-yard toss. It was impressive. And all night, Taylor was visibly concerned for the fans, and she herself became very red and seemed to have trouble catching her breath at multiple points throughout the evening. After the show, it emerged that over 1,000 people fainted due to heat, and unfortunately, one of the fans who fainted, Anna Benavidez, was rushed to the hospital, and shortly after arriving, she had a heart attack and passed away. Anna was just 23 years old. Taylor put out a statement a few hours later when she had, at that time, incomplete information, as we all had. But her statement read, quote, "I can't believe I'm writing these words, but it is with a shattered heart that I say we lost a fan earlier tonight before my show. I can't even tell you how devastated I am by this. There's very little information I have other than the fact that she was so incredibly beautiful and far too young. I'm not going to be able to speak about this from stage because I feel overwhelmed by grief when I even try to talk about it. I want to say now, I feel this loss deeply, and my broken heart goes out to her family and friends. This is the last thing I ever thought would happen when we decided to bring this tour to Brazil." So, yeah, Taylor is upset. Her statement about before the show is incorrect. We now know that Anna passed out during cruel summer. She was revived at the venue and then taken by ambulance to the hospital, at which point she passed out again and then expired.
From a PR standpoint, from what I understand, Taylor worded her statement the way she did because if she's kind of said it any other way, she could be held liable. Unfortunately, because it is very obvious in this entire situation that Taylor is at no fault and the venue is at all the fault. But there are some people out there who still think that Taylor could have done something, and she really couldn't have. She did the best she could. Yeah, so if you believe that Taylor is at fault, you can just see yourself out. But I don't think anybody who listens to this podcast would feel that way.
Indeed. We're going to talk about that a little bit more. But first, continue on. Okay, so next day, Taylor was supposed to play again the next night. And things got pretty hectic, as you can imagine, on social media. Lots of rumors, lots of finger pointing, like Kimberly said, who's to blame for this. And then about an hour before the second show was set to begin, Taylor officially announced via Instagram, social media, that the show had been postponed. And this caused some tense moments after some fans, allegedly fans, were angry enough to leak the location of Taylor's hotel and tell people, there she is if you want to go get her or whatever. And it was reported erroneously, or at least it was exaggerated a lot, that a mob of angry fans was headed to the hotel with bad intention, and that a equally or greater sized mob of protective fans headed there to head them off and were rebuffed by military police. How much of that actually happened is not clear. The military police were there on the scene, and they did barricade the street off just for precaution, I'm sure. But there is no confirmed angry mob who was ready to burn the witch.
Some fans did show up after her hotel location was leaked, but it is unclear if they were there for negative reasons or positive reasons. If there was a mixture of the two, either way, the police were like, we don't want any of y'all here. You all need to go home.
Yep. And thankfully, Taylor, of course, was fine. No one was harmed. Most of the blame for what happened with Anna and the other fans who had heat-related problems has been placed on Time for Fun, which is a Latin American events company who were in charge of preparing and running the venue for the concert. The Brazilian government has demanded information from Time for Fun on who made the policy that outside water wasn't allowed, whether or not public drinking fountains were available, the medical staff working the event, who were they, how qualified were they, specific actions taken by said medical staff with regard to Anna. And once they have reviewed the information, the National Consumer Secretariat will determine what punishment, if any, to level against Time for Fun. Since the disaster, Cinecon, that government organization, has already decreed that attendees can bring their own water and that going forward, all large venues are responsible for providing, quote, hydration islands, which are basically water bottle refilling stations, basically, where people can fill their bottles for free.
As it should be.
As it should be. We are University of Alabama alums who have been to games at Bryant-Denny Stadium, and they have those things, especially during the September games. They always have them. Mm-hmm. I don't know if they keep them for like November, but they definitely have them when it's hot like that.
And I understand the kind of their outlook of, well, we don't want open containers coming in because it could be, alcohol and not water. People could just be getting out of having to pay premium for liquor and stuff like that. But unopened, untampered with water bottles should be fine anywhere in the world where you go in with a crowd of people.
Indeed.
That should be a basic human right at this point.
I agree for sure. Time for Fun recently released a statement. I'm talking about today, I think, as we record this podcast. Thanksgiving Day. Woo! Basically, they released a very long, very PR statement. Mistakes were made, but we've run so many events over the years, and this is the first time someone's passed, and, we hate it as much as anyone, but unfortunately, it's no one's fault. It's just a tragic thing that happened.
Yeah.
And let's all just try to move on. That's basically what they're saying. And we're going to do better to make sure that people have water and stuff. Oh, and they blame climate change. Climate change killed Anna. Not time for fun.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't want to get got for slander.
Yeah.
But I have thoughts.
My thing on that statement, and just statements generally, is that it's unfortunate the way the legal system works. Mm-hmm. Because you can't just be like, yeah, a bad thing happened, and it was because of decisions that I made, and I didn't mean for them to cause this, but it is on me, and it's my bad, and there are no words to express how sorry I am for it. Which is what a human being should do. But they can't, because if they do, then it's sued into oblivion and possibly sent to jail, and nobody will just take responsibility and say, yep, I did it, I will take what comes.
Yeah, no. In today's PR world, no one takes responsibility. You do not take responsibility.
Yep.
Which is unfortunate. But again, I will say it was not on Taylor and Taylor's team, and they did not have to take responsibility. And I feel like Taylor already personally took on so much weight of what happened, even though it is not her fault.
Yeah, I don't blame Taylor for it at all. But anyway, Taylor got back to business on Sunday night. Thankfully, the weather had cooled a bit by then. And at this second show, Taylor performed Bigger Than the Whole Sky on piano. Most fans assume in tribute to Anna. She was visibly emotional during it and also openly sobbed a couple times during Champagne Problems. So clearly going through some things emotionally.
She also had a little lyric change in Bigger Than the Whole Sky.
Every single thing to come has turned into ashes.
Yeah, but she changed it to Everything I Touch Turns into Ashes.
Yep. Feeling some responsibility for it.
Yep.
Which is unfortunate. Taylor doesn't set venue policies for the venues. That would be outside of her purview.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, Taylor finished her Rio shows out on Monday night. Everything went smoothly, aside from her losing the sole off of one of her Louboutin boots. And it also had the heel. So she had to do the Barbie walk with one heel and keep the other one elevated.
Yeah, on her tiptoes.
Yep. And a fan ended up snagging the souvenir.
I mean, she threw it out into the crowd.
Mm-hmm. And the guy who caught it is going to find out how much it's worth soon, because he's auctioning it off to help pay for his cousin's cancer treatment.
Okay.
Which is a worthy goal, and we hope it goes well. He gets a lot of money. Good luck, my guy. We'll see.
Sure. Also, Madeline has definitely put this on social media, but of course, all of us here at Cowboys Like Us, I don't know how to say this, have Anna's family in our thoughts, and we hate to see such a young Swiftie gone far too soon.
Yeah, it's really awful. She was basically 10 years younger than me.
Yeah.
Had her whole life ahead of her, and it's just awful, man.
Nobody should, and this goes with all of the things that have ever happened at concerts. No one should ever go to a concert and not come home from it.
I know it.
So no matter how that happens, that doesn't really matter. What matters is concerts should be a safe place for people to go. And this is a very unfortunate situation.
Indeed. But unfortunately, that's not the only sad news we have to share this week. Unfortunately, Allie Anderson, the girl who received the 22 hat at Taylor's concert in Cincinnati back on July 1st, also passed away. She was 16 years old and had been battling cancer for the past 5 years. And the fight is over now. Unfortunately, it didn't turn out the way any of us would have liked. But according to Allie's mother, Taylor's music, quote, brought light to Allie's life. Allie had her music playing when she was still able to shower, when she was organizing her room, when we drove anywhere. It truly is all she played. And she also said, we had the opportunity to meet Taylor's mom, Andrea, at the concert. We couldn't thank her enough for choosing Allie for the hat, but I hope one day I could meet Taylor and Andrea to express how much that night meant to Allie. And Allie even had, quote, if you never bleed, you're never gonna grow, from the one tattooed on her arm. And I just don't really know what to say about this either. It's an awful situation. My heart goes out to Allie's family and to her friends. Can't imagine. But I think that it says something about the power of music. It can be a light in the darkness for people and to help us find a place where we belong, where we feel accepted and like we have community. And I think that's why music is such a universal part of the human experience.
Mm-hmm. For sure. Again, another Swiftie gone far too soon.
Indeed.
16 years is not enough.
It's a rough time lately.
Yeah.
But let's do what men do and turn our sadness. We're going to shove it down, way down where it can't hurt us.
Mm-hmm.
And instead, we're going to express anger over our next story.
Okay.
A woman, a Swiftie, named Ariel Stewart, booked an Airbnb for October of next year in New Orleans. The host asked Ariel what she'd be in town for. Ariel said she'd be attending the Taylor Swift concert at the Superdome. The host then tried to triple the price of Ariel's booking, claimed it was a technical error, a mistake on the website's end, whatever. Ariel then told her to kick rocks and said the host could cancel on her end if she desired, and that way the penalty would be on the host for the error, not on Ariel. The host, knowing how that would damage her Airbnb profile and rankings and all, declined to do that, and instead they're trying to threaten Ariel into canceling on her end, saying they will contact her employer, and to that I say, motherfucker, for what? What are you gonna tell them?
Yeah.
This girl don't want to let us fuck her out of some money?
Yeah.
That's clownery. Naturally, Swifties come to Ariel's defense and dox the host. We will not be sharing that information on this podcast for legal reasons. But if you look on TikTok, you can find it. It's out there. And what you do with that information is your business.
I want to know what Airbnb is doing, because if Ariel hasn't contacted them, she absolutely needs to. And I would like to believe that she has. So what the hell are they doing?
So she has contacted Airbnb, and they have said, you're good. Just like, don't cancel the reservation on your end and hold strong. Presumably, they've also been talking to the host, trying to rein her in, but obviously Ariel's not aware of those conversations.
Right, yeah. She wouldn't be part of this. Well, good. As long as Airbnb saying, do your thing, and you ain't gonna have to pay triple the price, then good.
Yep. They're standing behind Ariel.
I hope they go through with punishing that host, because that's bullshit.
It sure is. You know what else is bullshit? A boycott by Philadelphia Top 40 station Q102, who have banned Taylor Swift's music from the airwaves for the past week in the lead up to the Eagles vs. Chiefs game.
Yeah, that is bullshit. She's from Philadelphia, you piece of shit.
Yep. A Q102 DJ named Nugget, I presume that's not his government name, said, quote,
He's not deserving.
Indeed. said, quote, Q102 is punting Taylor Swift from the radio station for the entire weekend because while Q102 loves Taylor Swift, we can't get enough of her. This weekend, it's really important we show our support for the birds. Taylor had been rumored to be flying in for the game on Monday, but due to the postponement in Rio, she ended up having to perform the makeup show during the game and consequently did not make it.
Yep. We were supposed to get the parents' meeting. It was supposed to be parents' weekend.
Yep. So maybe that'll happen soon in a less public way, and we'll never know.
Yeah, this Q102 DJ Nugget, first of all, get a new name because you're not deserving of the name Nugget. And then also Cake Rocks because you can be a fan of Philadelphia Eagles and also Taylor Swift, and it doesn't have to be divisive. Grow up.
Get off the cross, Nugget. We need the wood. In happier news, the Billboard Music Awards happened, and Taylor won 10 awards. Top Artist, Top Female Artist, Top Billboard 200 Artist, Top Hot 100 Songwriter, Top Radio Song Artist, Top Song Sales Artist, Top Billboard Global 200 Artist, Top Billboard Global Non-US 200 Artist, Top Country Female Artist, Top Selling Song for Anti-Hero.
How many people are mad that she got top country female artist?
I assume all of them.
Yeah.
Anybody who would care.
Especially, I feel like Kelsey Ballerini is really dominating right now of the... There's Lainey, what's her name? Lainey Wilson, I think is her name too.
Yep.
She's really big, so I feel like people are probably mad that one of them didn't win.
Well.
But here we are.
Take it up with Billboard. It's
Yeah.
not on us. Taylor was nominated for 10 additional awards, but unfortunately, she didn't win those.
So. I mean, 10's still a lot.
10 is a lot. Mr. Travis Kelce.
Yeah.
Sat down for a big, quote, tell-all interview with Wall Street Journal, the magazine. Unfortunately, I cannot access the whole thing because they want us to pay for it.
Sure.
And I'm not gonna. But we do have access to bits and pieces that have come out, possibly adding up to the whole thing. Because there's a bunch of them floating around.
I think we got all the important stuff.
You think so?
I don't think anybody left big things behind we're not talking about, you know?
Indeed. Well, here are some of them. Travis says he had someone on the inside playing Cupid for him. Someone within Taylor's circle.
I am going to interject a little bit of clownery here. This is straight from the horse's mouth, the clown horse's mouth. I think the Cupid on the inside is her backup dancer, Cam, because Cam's brother plays with Travis on the Chiefs. Who else would be able to get Taylor Travis's phone number?
Or care to.
Yeah, or care to, than someone who has a man on the inside on both sides.
Indeed. Seems logical to me. But we don't know that.
No, that's pure clownery.
Yep. Could be anybody. Taylor called Travis on the phone at the urging of this Cupid. And Travis says she let him know how lucky he was that she called him.
I love that. I love that he kind of makes her out to like he was she was coming at him like, I'm a big deal and you need to like know what you're getting. And I feel like that's probably how she kind of came off to him, but I doubt that's what she sounded like.
Yep. It's the Anchorman. I don't know how to say this, but I'm kind of a big deal.
Yeah. No, I feel like Taylor called him and was like, you know, oh, I heard that I missed you at the concert or whatever, but Travis was just so, like, intimidated that he heard, like, you're so fucking lucky I'm on the phone with you right now.
Who is Travis Kelce anyway?
Ew.
Yep. So, basically, Travis said Taylor's so smart and funny and out of his league.
Which we know.
Which is factual. But he's grateful that she gave him a shot.
So am I, Travis. So am I.
Feels like it's going well. And Travis's mother feels bad for not showing more enthusiasm when she was asked about Taylor in an interview, which we talked about on this podcast. Says she really likes Taylor a lot, as does everyone in her family.
Yeah, but according to the article, when he actually was going on his first date with Taylor, his entire family told him not to fuck it up. which I think is great. They were all like, she's out of your league, okay? And you're gonna fuck it up. We know you're gonna fuck it up.
You gotta lock it down.
You gotta do better than your normal Travis.
Yep. Don't be you. Be better. Yep.
Be better.
Was there anything else you saw?
He just talks about how impressed he is, like you said, that she's so smart and funny, but how good she is with words. And he's not really a words man.
That's what he said.
And I've
never been a man of words.
Yeah, I feel that. I've also never really been a man of words, so I get that. But yeah, there have been some comparisons online of the way that Joe Alwyn used to respond to questions about Taylor in interviews. And like one time he was asked what his favorite song was that she wrote.
Right.
Or it could have been more specific of what was like his favorite Taylor Swift lyric or something. But either way, he just straight up refused to answer it. And he said, I'm not going there. I'm not talking about that. And then in this Wall Street Journal article, Travis is literally talking about lines in Blank Space and how Blank Space is one of his favorite songs and like how I'll make Bad Guys Good for the Weekend is his favorite line. And he's like, hell of a line or whatever. And everybody's comparing it to Joe being like, I'm not talking about Taylor.
Yeah, Joe's a straight up bitch. And the less we talk about him, the happier I'll be. Yep.
He happened, okay? He's part of the zeitgeist.
You don't get to blame your boring milquetoast ass personality on the fact that you're British. Not in 2023.
I do really like that we were all kind of on board for their relationship. I mean, I know that a majority of us were like, we're just happy if Taylor's happy.
That's it.
Which is how we are with her and Travis as well. But, like, everybody's like, oh, yeah, like, her and Joe are probably going to be in-game, and we're happy if Taylor's happy. And then they break up, and we're like, oh, good, because we hated that guy.
We'll switch up.
Like when she and Maddie Healy cut ties.
Yeah, that's another one. Less said about it, the better.
Anyway, moving on.
Speaking of Travis and Taylor, they were reportedly going to spend Thanksgiving together. There were rumors of this. Both families were intended to be there, which would be the first meeting, making up for missing the game. And that was meant to happen at the Eagles-Chiefs game, but the real postponement for Minch there. But I have since seen rumors that Taylor is in fact still in Brazil and is not coming back until after her shows in Sao Paulo.
Yeah, and Travis specifically said on the New Heights podcast that he would be spending Thanksgiving alone in Kansas City with his KFC.
Nice.
And Jason was like, well, if you want to come out, if you want to take a flight out to Philly, you can have Thanksgiving with us. And Travis was like, yes, that is exactly what I would like to do the week after we just played you in football.
Yeah. So the parents' meeting apparently is still to come.
Yeah.
Not happening on Thanksgiving.
Hasn't happened. Their Thanksgiving plans got really messed up. But, you know, like apparently the rest of us, because I don't know about you guys out there, but here at Cowboys Like Us, our November has been pretty shit.
Yeah.
So,
and Taylor's had some things happen.
Exactly. Taylor's has also been kind of a rough ride. So I feel like all of us are just kind of glad that Thanksgiving is over now. And the month of November is coming to a close. And this shitty month can go down in shit history.
Yep. Go sit by the pool, have some margs.
We'll try again at Christmas.
That's right. Travis, in Taylor's absence on Monday, had an okay game. He caught 7 passes for 44 yards and a touchdown. Still significantly less productive than the games Taylor attends. And I guess it's hard to put your whole heart into the game when half of it's in Rio.
Oh no, that's sweet.
Yep.
Yeah, he, as you know, he tried. He tried really hard. He played a good game, and he tried really hard. But he couldn't do it, and the Eagles won.
Yep. He also had a very bad fumble that cost the team. Andy Reid.
That was so funny.
Gave the dad face to Travis, yelled at him.
Yeah. So it called him Kelsey, and then, like, gestured for him to come over, and he didn't move. And so then he called him by his first name. It was like, Travis! And was like, get over here, and then gave him like a bulldog face. It was rough.
Indeed. Dancing with the Stars is in its 30-something season, and they had their Taylor Swift night.
Yep.
This past week. And despite quite a lot of clownery, Taylor Swift herself did not appear, aside from a brief pre-taped video in which she expressed her love for the show and wished the contestants luck.
Yeah, I think it was pretty obvious Taylor wasn't going to show up. Mostly because Taylor works with Disney a lot and has deals with them. So, of course, they own ABC, and Dancing with the Stars streams on Disney Plus now, as well as on ABC. So, yeah, they did a Taylor Swift night because she's really big right now and a hot name, and they could use her music and benefit off of it, and she kind of had to say yes. So I never really once expected her to show up.
Yep. There's a little thing called contractual obligation.
Exactly.
Do you have any other news you wanted to get into?
Not really. A little bit of clownery. There's a lot of speculation going around the internet of whether or not we're going to get one more re-record announcement before this tour for this year is wrapped up, because like we mentioned earlier, today is Thanksgiving Day as we record this, and this weekend will be the last stint of shows for Taylor before next February.
Yep. Taking a good 2-month holiday break.
Yeah, so there's a lot of speculation on if, we'll get an announcement and, secret songs that she has left to play, but Justin gets really exasperated when I start speculating on album releases. So I think, you can find it on TikTok.
I don't like numbers, which is ironic because we're about to go to Chart Watch.
Yep.
Which is all numbers, and I have to do them, and I hate it. But I am a professional. Not in the literal sense, in that we have never been paid for this podcast as of yet. Maybe one day.
A professional in the way that you take it seriously.
That's right.
And only in that way, because I don't think anything we say is professional.
Yeah, our audio engineering is not.
No.
And I should know because I do it.
We're really just doing our best, guys.
That's right.
We're just having fun.
Yeah. Chart Watch on the Billboard Artist 100. Taylor stayed put at number 1. On the Billboard Hot 100 singles chart, Cruel Summer also stayed at number 1. Is It Over Now dropped 2 spots to number 5. Now That We Don't Talk dropped 21 to number 33. Slut dropped 18 spots to number 49. Stay Don't Go is down 27 spots to number 53. Style Taylor's Version down 24 spots to number 69. Nice. Bad Blood TV down 33 spots to number 80. Out of the Woods TV is down 12 to number 85. Wildest Dreams TV down 14 to number 86. Suburban Legends down 42 to number 92. And Blank Space Taylor's Version down 34 spots to number 93. All the other 1989 TVs that were left have fallen out. I didn't go back to look and see which ones it was.
1989 Taylor's Version is brand freaking new. You guys, why is Cruel Summer still at number 1? It's not a new version of Cruel Summer.
No, but it bangs.
It does bang, but so does Slut. And so does Is It Over Now. It should be number 1, to be honest.
Well,
anyway.
As far as we are aware, Is It Over Now is the only one who's getting any sort of single push
Yeah.
from 1989 TV from the labels.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why Slut's not doing better. Anyway, the Billboard Top 200 Albums chart, 1989 TV, dropped 1 spot to number 2. Midnight's up 2 spots to number 7. Lover is down 3 to number 14. Folklore is down 3 to number 18. Speak Now TV, down 4 to number 24. Reputation is down 1 to number 25. Red TV, down 6 spots to number 31. Evermore down 5 to 32. Fearless Taylor's Version rose 2 spots to number 49. And 1989, the Stolen Version, dropped 5 spots to number 58. Hanging around too long. Get it out.
Yes, but how many times can we harp on that? I don't feel like it's the people who listen to us who are keeping it on there. I'm interested by the 2-point rise of Fearless Taylor's Version. Wonder what that's about.
Couldn't imagine.
Yeah, no idea.
We may never know.
The world may never know.
Indeed. We would normally at this point go to the Clown Corner, but Kimberly doesn't have a full one. She talked about it a little bit at the end of the news, but we're not going to do a full thing.
Yeah, and also it feels like the news was, very heavy, and to pivot into just silliness seems like a lot, even though this song is going to be full of silliness in itself. So I think that's enough of a balance. And also, like I said, November was a shit show of a month. So I think we're going to cap it off with this episode, and then we're going to roll into December. We're going to be bigger. We're going to be better. We're going to have a great time.
Mm-hmm.
But November is not the time to have a great time, apparently.
That's right. We are not going to the clown corner out of respect.
Yes.
Which we have.
Just bukus of.
You wouldn't have a parade on 9/11. Neither will we.
Yeah.
With that said, let's get into the song of the week. Nobody No Crime was originally released on Evermore back in December of 2020. Was written by Taylor Swift and produced by Taylor Swift and Aaron Dessner. It features a band called Haim, which is a band made up of 3 sisters, Esty, Danielle, and Elena Haim. All 3 Haims are friends with Taylor. Danielle and Esty are both credited with backing vocals on Nobody No Crime. Elena was presumably just vibing, which is what she does, kind of.
Yeah.
Like, Danielle is the lead vocalist and plays guitar. Esty plays bass. Elena is around. They have a drummer who tours with them. I don't know what Elena does. No one really does. She's just there.
Elena is the 3rd sister in that their parents probably said,
Take
no,
Elena with you.
Yeah, no, Danielle and Esty, you can't just have a band by yourself. You have to include your sister.
She was in a film that was like in contention for Oscar bait, and she was getting a lot of positive press for that. So good for you, Elaine.
Yeah.
We see you. You're valid. Chart info: Nobody No Crime peaked at number 34 on Hot 100 and number 2 on Hot Country Songs.
Wow.
Billboard counted it as a country song.
I mean, I get why they did that, but it's pretty on the nose.
Indeed. What has Taylor said about this song?
The Haim sisters have been my best friends for years, and we've played together so many times, but this is the first time we've done a song together. I wrote Nobody No Crime by myself. It was inspired by my obsession with true crime podcasts and documentaries, and I used one of my best friend's names as the main character. Working with the Haim sisters on Nobody No Crime was pretty hilarious because it came about after I wrote a pretty dark murder mystery song and had named the character Esty because she's the friend I have who would be stoked to be in a song like that. I had finished this song and was nailing down some lyric details and texted her, "You're not going to understand this text for a few days, but which chain restaurant do you like best?" And I named a few. She chose Olive Garden, and a few days later I sent her the song and asked if they would sing on it. It was an immediate yes.
Aaron was also asked about it, and he said, quote, Taylor wrote that one alone and sent me a voice memo of her playing guitar. She wrote it on this rubber bridge guitar that I got for her. It's the same kind I play on invisible string. So she wrote Nobody No Crime and sent me a voice memo of it, and then I started building on that. It's funny, because the music I've listened to the most in my life are things that are more like that. Roots music, folk music, country music, old school rock and roll, the Grateful Dead. It's not really the sound of the National or other things I've done, but it feels like a warm blanket. Taylor had specific ideas from the beginning about references and how she wanted it to feel, and that she wanted the Haim sisters to sing on it. We had them record the song with Ariel Reichsted. They sent that from LA, and then we put it together when Taylor was here at Long Pond. They're an incredible band, and it was another situation where we were like, well, this happened. It felt like this weird little rock and roll history anecdote. So there you go. On to the critical reception.
Sydney Morning Herald said a saloon-style remake of Chicago's He Had It Comin'.
Stereo Gum called it, quote, the most country thing Swift has done in years.
Robert Christgau, which we think is maybe the way you pronounce his last name, said, my least favorite track on Evermore. Relatable.
Same, Robert. Vulture said, quote, it's better suited to soundtrack an episode of a soapy TV show than any heartbreak.
Yep. Also from Vulture, they said, more like a musical costume party than a genuine attempt at embodying darkness.
Slate said, quote, Swift commits the capital offense of underusing the Haim sisters purely as background singers.
I kind of also agree with that.
Yep.
The Utah Statesman said, a fun track.
And finally, the Ringer called it one of the record's gravest disappointments. It's a semi-cheeky murder ballad, but it's just not cheeky, or for that matter, campy enough.
Oh, I think it's hella campy enough. But that's just my opinion.
We'll get into that in a minute. But for now, what about the fans? Do they like it?
Rob Sheffield.
Big boy Rob.
Rated it number 158 out of all of Taylor's discography.
240-ish.
Rob said that it was a country collabo with her longtime friends in Haim for a Goodbye Earl style murder story with a shout out to Olive Garden. That is just a synopsis of the song, Rob. That is not an opinion. But I guess we can figure by his low ranking that he didn't like it very much.
If you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all.
Yep. He sounds like me trying to write a paper in like high school or college. Just say the same thing that they said in the story, but in different words.
My paper is on A Tale of Two Cities, and it is a tale about two cities.
Exactly. R/Taylor Swift ranked it 10th out of 17 tracks on Evermore Survivor.
Too high.
Yeah, honestly.
I mean, way too high.
Yeah. The only acceptable rankings are like 16 or 17.
The only acceptable ranking is 17, but we'll get into that.
Yeah, I can't off the top of my head think of one that I might rank lower, and there might be one. I'm just not sure.
Well, I'm sure for me.
Okay.
But anyway, let's get into the lyrics first, before we get to our thoughts. Verse 1, Estee's a friend of mine. We meet up every Tuesday night for dinner and a glass of wine. Estee's been losing sleep. Her husband's acting different, and it smells like infidelity. She says, that ain't my Merlot on his mouth. That ain't my jewelry on our joint account. No, there ain't no doubt. I think I'm going to call him out. So, Taylor and Esty are friends. Esty suspects her husband is cheating, a cheating sack of dicks.
Cheating with a sack of dicks.
And she's pretty good evidence to support her theory.
Yep.
And she's going to confront her husband with her suspicions. Not much else to say about that verse. Pretty straightforward. On to the chorus, she says, I think he did it, but I just can't prove it. I think he did it, but I just can't prove it. I think he did it, but I just can't prove it. No, nobody, no crime, but I ain't letting up until the day I die. So, nobody, no crime. Am I right? It's a true crime thing.
Yep.
If there's not a body, then we cannot even definitively say that the person is dead, let alone that they've been murdered by any specific person.
I will say you can technically, there have been some cases where people have been tried without a body, but anybody in the true crime world will tell you that it is nearly impossible to get in a conviction without a body.
Yep, it's a general rule,
Yeah.
not a all-inclusive, but it is
I want
general.
to clarify.
Yep. If you don't have a body, then the person could be anywhere, doing anything, like Jimmy Hoffa, you know?
Yep.
He's out there having a good time. Taylor takes this concept both literally and figuratively at different points in the song.
Mm-hmm.
The first one is figurative. The affair cannot be conclusively proven. SD does not have the smoking gun. She hasn't caught them in the act. She doesn't have photos, anything like that. She just has sneaking suspicion. On to the second verse. Essie wasn't there Tuesday night at Olive Garden, at her job, or anywhere. He reports his missing wife, and I noticed when I passed his house, his truck has got some brand new tires. And his mistress moved in, sleeps in Essie's bed, and everything. Though there ain't no doubt, somebody's got to catch him out. So, Olive Garden. Taylor told the story about how she chose Olive Garden as the restaurant. And it's meant to be charming and relatable, but it doesn't hit that for me. It's more like an, oh, Esty, darling, tell me, won't you please, wherever do the poors eat? I don't know, Olive Garden? Perfect.
As someone who likes Olive Garden, it didn't really read that like pretentious to me, but Olive Garden did seem like a interesting choice.
I felt condescended to
Yeah, okay.
by Olive Garden. I don't like Olive Garden, so I don't really have much to add there. You like it, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. quality chain restaurant in Kimberly's rankings.
That's fine, yeah.
It's no Chili's, but it does fine.
It's no Chili's. And most people would be like, Olive Garden? Not as good as Chili's? Are you crazy? And my response is, have you had the honey chipotle chicken crispers? Because if you have not, you're doing Chili's wrong. And if you tell me that Chili's is Tex-Mex, why are you getting chicken tenders? I need you to eat the chicken tenders before you come at me.
Yeah. Chili's is not a sponsor of this podcast. We're just trying to get them to.
Oh my God.
Sponsor us.
Chili's, please sponsor us.
Do it, you coward.
Or just like, you don't even have to sponsor us. Just send me like a lifetime gift card or something.
Indeed.
I won't tell anyone about it.
Yep, our little secret. So, Esty is missing. She's not dead legally because nobody, right? So, how did the husband get new tires?
Right. Because it does insinuate life insurance.
It does.
But you can't have life insurance policy collection without a death certificate.
And it seems, just based on how the song is laid out, that this is a very quick thing. Very quick thing.
Right. She goes missing. New tires.
Bam. Yep.
Well, okay. Thought I literally just had and have never had while listening to the song, but just in this conversation. What if sometimes tire tracks can be used, like the print.
Yeah.
So what if he switched his tires out so that he can't be connected if they happen to find her body and find tire tracks near it?
Could well be.
But I always definitely heard it like a life insurance policy scam.
Well, the other thought I had, after thinking about it a lot, because that was my initial thought as well. Yeah. Life insurance. Does that make sense? Not to me. Maybe Esty had money stashed away.
Yeah.
That he now can spend freely because he knows she's not going to come back to make it a problem.
Right. And the entire time she's been he's like, I want new tires. And she's like, no, you can't have new tires.
Right.
Yeah.
My new girlfriend lets me get all the new tires I want.
Yeah, my only thing would be that, he was buying jewelry without her permission, and she saw that. So, what would stop him from just doing whatever he wanted?
Very good point.
Yeah. So now that's why my brain is life insurance has never really made sense, but I just figured that's what she meant. But then maybe he's trying to cover his track. Literally.
It's a good theory.
I hadn't thought about that. Well, I'm a bad true crime detective.
Onto the bridge. Good thing my daddy made me get a boating license when I was 15, and I've cleaned enough houses to know how to cover up a scene. Good thing Esty's sister's gonna swear she was with me. She was with me, dude. That's Daniel. Good thing his mistress took out a big life insurance policy. Kimberly, you are a true crime fan.
Uh-huh.
And you have also in your life, I've seen you do it, done some cleaning.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that you, with your knowledge of those two things, could successfully cover up a murder scene?
Hypothetically. Because I don't want to get a knock on my door if the wrong person listens to the podcast. So all of this is hypothetical. Yeah. I think could.
So it's that...
No, here's the thing. I think I would be better at covering up the scene than I would be hiding or disposing of the body.
Okay.
I think that would be where I came into issue. Cleaning up the scene, though, I got it.
I feel like that's the thing for women, because women, as a general rule, talking generalities, are into true crime.
Right.
And so that's the thing.
Well, it's because it's committed onto us more often.
Yeah, which is awful.
Statistically more murdered by the men around us. Anyway, sorry.
My point is, women like true crime, and therefore, that's their... Could you land a plane if you had to? Every man is like, yes, I could. Whereas women are like, could you cover up a murder scene? Oh, yeah, for sure.
But 100%. I'm also the one out here having full-on conversations about could you land a plane? And I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty sure I could.
Yep. I don't think I could cover up a murder scene successfully.
But that's just because, like you said, things I have experience with in my life. Not direct experience, but associated experience. I've never directly landed a plane, but I have been inside a plane in which I got to touch the controls while in flight. So I feel like I also grew up with a father who had a pilot's license. So I feel like I know a bit above average about landing a plane. I know a bit above average about how to clean up a murder scene.
I don't know anything about planes. I've been on a plane as a passenger.
Yeah.
That is the extent of my plane knowledge.
Yeah.
And I feel extremely confident I land that thing no problem.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know why.
I will let all of our listeners into the little secret that my father let me and Madeline onto when we called him and asked this exact question when we were having this debate at work of whether all of the men at our job could land a plane because they were all pretty confident they could. But we didn't want to tell them what my dad told us, which was planes these days basically land themselves. So you really wouldn't have to do anything.
There you go. So any of us could.
Yeah. In an emergency situation, the general person could probably land a plane because they basically land themselves.
For more info on this, see the documentary film Airplane from whenever year that was. It's not a documentary, it's a comedy. You should watch it. It's older.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was thinking the animated film Planes.
Nope. Airplane.
Yeah. You were talking about a comedy movie. I was thinking about the movie for children.
Yeah.
In the Cars universe. Anyway.
Yeah, not that one. Anyway, lyrics. We all got a boating license, Taylor.
I did not. I failed my test.
Some of us got boating licenses, Taylor. Not just you. But a few of us have actually ever driven a boat, despite having the license. I, for example, have never.
Yeah.
I've been on boats, haven't driven any. And I think the experience of actually driving a boat would be much more valuable than having the license if you're going out into the swamps to hide a body. Because the license is really irrelevant. Because if the cop pulls you over the boat cop pulls you over to check your license, he's going to be like, what's that? And then you're fucked.
Yeah. You really don't need your boating license to hide a body. You're correct.
Because you're already doing crimes.
I don't know if it was intentional or not. But that line in particular, a good thing my daddy made me get a boating license when I was 15, specifically reminds me every time I hear it of, I think I've mentioned this on the podcast before, but my personal favorite cover that Taylor has ever done while she was on the Speak Now tour, when she covered the song Daddy Let Me Drive by Alan Jackson. So that line makes me think of that song all the time. So I feel like maybe she kind of pulled it from there. She was kind of like a callback to that song because I'm sure that song means a lot to her. And so yeah, you don't really need it, but I think that's more like a little Easter egg callback than anything.
Perhaps it was. Perhaps it was. One of our lovely critical reviews mentioned how Haim was extremely underutilized in this song. And here's the proof. The only line that could technically be construed as a lead vocal line by Danielle Haim, lead vocalist of Haim, is the spoken word line, "She was with me, dude."
Yeah.
Which is messed up. Taylor has established a pattern now of features that wildly underutilize her guests. And my question is, where is the No Body, No Crime, the more Haim version? I still wouldn't listen to it, but I think if she did the Snow on the Beach, More Lena version, she should do No Body, No Crime, More Haim.
It might be better, honestly.
Couldn't be worse, I shouldn't think.
Yeah, there was an article that just came out of Lana saying that Taylor basically wanted her to sing the entire song of Snow on the Beach, and she was like, nah. So, maybe Taylor wanted them to sing more, and they were like, nah. But I doubt that. It probably just worked out the way it worked out.
Maybe. Again, we're back to the life insurance policies. Taylor mentions them herself. The mistress took out a big life insurance policy. How do they work? So, Esty goes missing, and the husband came into some money. No one but Taylor was concerned. Nobody thought, he's murdered her, cashed in the money, bought himself new tires. Cops don't know, don't care. But the mistress took out a policy, maybe hasn't even tried to claim it because she doesn't know he's dead. And the cops are immediately like, got her. We got her, boys. That's how life insurance works. But it didn't before.
Yeah. Well, because before, it doesn't specifically say he cashed in the life insurance policy. We just all assume that that's what Taylor's insinuating with the big tires, like we talked about. Or not the big tires, but the new tires, like we talked about. But in this one, she very specifically says his mistress took out a big life insurance policy. And obviously, it's alluding to the fact that, like, the friend took it out in the mistress's name to frame. That's the way I've always heard it. That the mistress didn't actually take out the life insurance policy. It was taken out in her name to frame her for the murder of him.
I didn't even think about it that way, but...
Oh, yeah, no. So I've always heard this song as, like, he cheated on her, she confronted him, he murdered her, moved his mistress in, the best friend pieced it together, the best friend kills the husband, and then pins it on the mistress.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Okay, but I always took that as, like, the way she pinned it on the mistress was she took the life insurance policy out to make the mistress look suspicious.
Possibly. I just took it as a serendipity, man. Sometimes things work out.
No, I think it was on purpose. But also, I don't know how that would really work logistically. Like, you have to have a lot of documents for that.
You'd have to have somebody at the insurance company.
Exactly. Like, there's a lot of stuff to go through. So I think Taylor is kind of playing loose and fast with, like, life insurance policies. I don't think she, like, 100% is thinking about the way they work in real life.
I don't think Taylor thought anyone would think as much about this song as we are.
Maybe.
And I regret that I have to.
Yeah, well.
But that's the job.
But all of this to say, this is also very friggin' common of the coincidence that people take out life insurance policies like right before they get murdered or right before someone around them dies, or, you know, like the husband takes it out on the wife and then the wife dies and everybody's like, oh, the husband did it. And then other things point to the husband didn't do it. And so then it's like, are we just looking at him thinking he's money hungry, or did he actually take this money out with the intent to, you know, kill his wife and collect the money? So that part of it is very real life. The logistics of it, not so much.
I will take your word for it.
It comes into play way more often than you think.
On to the final chorus. They think she did it. They just can't prove it. They think she did it. But they just can't prove it. She thinks I did it. But she just can't prove it.
Gaslight the shit out of her.
So, as we just talked about, the bridge makes it sound like Taylor successfully framed the mistress.
Yeah.
Toss her in jail. Case closed. But we have some ambiguity thrown in here at the end. The cops think she did it, but they can't prove it.
Mm-hmm.
So, does she get off at trial, a la Casey Anthony, or friend of the pod, O.J. Simpson?
Mm-hmm.
We are left to wonder.
Probably is the most likely answer.
Because she hasn't done it.
However, in the trial by media, does it matter? You know what I mean? Because according to the court, like you're saying, she hasn't done it. We obviously know from the lyrics of the song, she didn't do it.
Right.
But as far as like the court and public judgment, you know, Casey Anthony and O.J. Simpson were acquitted. So if she's acquitted due to lack of evidence, does that mean that everybody in the world's going to just start treating her like, oh, she didn't do it? They said she didn't do it. Because I feel like in these two instances, they are very split in opposite directions. You find way more people who are fully convinced that Casey Anthony killed her daughter than people who will defend her. And you find way more people willing to defend O.J. Simpson in the murder than people who... Now, there's a great percentage of both sides, but there are more people who will defend O.J. Simpson for not being a murderer than defend Casey Anthony for not being a murderer. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Okay.
if you say so. I think they both did it, and I think everyone I've ever spoke to would agree. But I don't know.
Yeah, for the most part, but our selection pool is like very small compared to the entire rest of the United States.
I mean, I actually know everyone in the world.
Oh,
So,
I'm sorry. Okay.
but yeah, it's fine. Whatever you say. Whatever you say. Yeah, so the mistress correctly assumes that Taylor did the crime. Presumably, she expresses that to the cops, who ignore what she has to say, which is interesting because Taylor certainly did have motive if she believes this guy killed her best friend, who is missing. I guess having someone say, she was with me, dude, is all it takes to get away with murder. That is a rock solid alibi. It's all you need.
I have seen murders where people got wrongly convicted on much, much flimsier alibis.
Our justice system is broken.
Yes, very much so.
But that's not what we're here to talk about. So let's get into our thoughts. shall we? Kimberly, what are your overall thoughts on Nobody No Crime?
It's just a Goodbye Earl ripoff. I mean, it's not, it sounds a little different, but in the grand scheme of things, it's been done.
Sure.
It's not a new idea. She put her own twist on an old idea, but I think everybody saw the title and expected the same level of greatness that came with Goodbye Earl, and it just wasn't that. There is something about it, something about like the sound of the song and the cadence and how it's a little more spoken word. I feel like than Goodbye Earl is. I like that about it. I think that's mostly the only saving grace. She really tried to play with the lyrics a lot, and I don't think it really paid off. And I do think that she underused the sisters' time a lot. They should have been used probably for a better song, but also just more.
Right. So, for me, I just want to say I hate this song. I hate it. I would rather be shot in the face than ever have to hear it ever again. That is how much I hate it. It is a story song, a classic country music, folk music form, which is exactly what it sounds like. Perhaps the most famous country example is The Devil Went Down to Georgia.
Sure.
By Charlie Daniels.
Yeah, it does give that vibe.
Which is a great song. Though this song, like you and the critics said, appears to take more inspiration from Goodbye Earl by the Chicks, formerly known as the Dixie Chicks. And I've said it before, and I will say it again here and now. Natalie Maines is about that life. She's got shooters out here. Taylor and the Himes are not about it. And so this song ends up taking itself so much more seriously than it should. Way more seriously than Goodbye Earl does. Because, not because of Taylor, but because of Aaron and his stormy night ass production work. It's way too good for what this song is.
Yeah.
And so that dichotomy makes it come off mad corny. It seems like she tried to go super dark and just failed. Whereas I think she went for camp and the production undercuts it in a big way.
Okay, because I'm definitely seeing where she went for camp, which is why that quote, when it said, like, it not can't be enough, I'm like, I feel like she really shot for the camp stars.
I think that's what they mean. I think if you're going to go camp, you can't have such moody, dark, brooding production. It just clashes too much.
So you're just saying Aaron, like, really took the heart of the story and ran with it.
Yeah, so it's basically like... It's basically like Garth Brooks' The Thunder Rolls.
Yeah.
How it's just dark and menacing musically. And that song earns it because it's about a menacing, dark subject. Whereas this one is a little bit too silly and a little bit too winking to pull it off.
The Thunder Rolls used to give me nightmares as a child.
Yeah.
This song would not have.
And yeah, also, I like Haim. Their most recent album that they put out, Women in Music Part 3, is an incredible record. One of the best tracks on it is called Gasoline, and the deluxe version has a Taylor Swift remix that features some of her vocals. And in return for that cameo, they got featured on this piece of garbage. Is that fair? It is not. I will say, the one positive thing is that in this song, Taylor does, in fact, do actual vigilante shit. Unlike in vigilante shit, where she's just a tattletale.
So this song is the true vigilante shit, and you like it even less than vigilante shit.
Oddly enough, I don't know.
I will also say, in a complete side tangent, it's about this song, but not really thoughts. But if you like true crime and you don't listen to the podcast Crime Junkies, you should. But this is a little spoiler, but it's from like 2021. So, April Fool's Day, 2021, Crime Junkie put out, I believe so, this came out in, like, December of 2020, right?
Yes.
So, Crime Junkie put out an April Fool's episode where they read this song in their style, like, reported on it, like it was an actual true crime case. And the entire time I was listening to the episode, I forgot what day it was. And I was like, this sounds exactly like No Body, No Crime. Like, this case really sounds like No Body, No Crime. And then I was like, is Nobody No Crime based on a true story? Like, I knew that it was the song, but I was genuinely convinced that they were reading a story that this song was based on. And then at the end, they were like, April Fools, this is a Taylor Swift song. And I was like, I knew it the whole time. They just had me convinced it was a real murder.
They got you.
They got me.
They got you. Let's move right on to our ratings. For anyone out there who may be listening for the first time, welcome. We rate every song on a 1 to 10 scale. 1 is extremely bad, 10 is extremely good, and 5 is extremely mid. Kimberly, what rating do you give Nobody No Crime?
I give it a 2. There are small elements of this song that I like. I like the idea because I'm a true crime fan and also a fan of the song Goodbye Earl. I just wish she had executed better. And maybe, like you said, that might be a little more on Aaron. Maybe Jack should have produced this one. But either way, it's not, the things that I like about this song are not enough to save it in the end. But there are definitely songs in Taylor Swift's list of songs that I feel passionate about how much I hate them, like you feel about this song.
Right.
So I'm kind of saving that. I don't like this one, but I'm a little bit more passionate about my dislike of others. So I will give it a 2.
Fair enough. Like you, I do enjoy story songs. So as an idea, Taylor wanted to do one. I'm on board. I just think the execution is severely. In every way, I think it is a complete failure of a song. I wish it had never come out. It was a mistake.
Yeah.
And the fact that she put this on Evermore, the standard Evermore album, and left Right Where You Left Me,
that's wild.
on the deluxe, is a crime against humanity.
That's fucking wild. Either one of the deluxe songs.
Yeah, It's Time to Go
is
way better.
So much better than this song. Yeah.
That said, I will give it a 1. I would give it lower if my scale allowed me to. But this is the one I've set, and that's why it's a 1. Fuck this song. I wish I was dead.
Like the guy in this song.
Like the guy in this song, rather than have to hear it ever again. Yeah, so that unpleasantness is behind us. Hooray. Thank you all so much for listening.
Oh yeah, this also wraps up our little trio that she mentioned.
That's
for the
right.
Evermore album.
Ivy, Tolerate It, and...
Nobody No Crime.
Yep, we went in descending order. In my opinion, Ivy's the best, then Tolerate It, then Nobody.
Yeah, I would agree.
We should have done it the other way probably, but oh well.
We did it this way.
C'est la vie.
Yep.
What song are we talking about next week?
Shake It Off.
Yes, and I am pleased to report that we're going to have friend of the pod, Christy, back on, as we teased, back on her first appearance.
Yeah.
She is a certified Shake It Off hater, so that the haters out there, your voice will be heard.
Yeah, we will have some back and forth on that. I think it's really funny that next week we're talking about Shake It Off when a lot of people on the internet this week have been talking about how, like, a PSA to all people who exist in the world, celebrity or otherwise, if you are asked if you are a Swiftie and you answer yes, and then you ask they ask you what your favorite song is, and you respond Shake It Off, you're lying, and we know you're lying.
Well, we'll see. We'll see.
And I think that was kind of directed at Donna Kelsey. And I won't stand for Donna Kelsey hate, but I do agree that Shake It Off is everyone's default answer because it's the only Taylor Swift song that any of them can name.
Controversial. Yet so brave.
Anyway, yay, Christy!
Yay! Yes, so, once again, thank you all so much for listening. Follow us on social media.
There we go.
Yeah, we're on lots of different platforms.
We are.
We are on X, and we are on Instagram, and we are on Threads at...
And we're on TikTok.
Is our username the same?
It should be.
Okay, we're also on TikTok.
We have brand consistency around here, boy.
Well, I made the YouTube, and I don't know if it's consistent or not.
Oh, damn. Well, anyway, we are on X, Instagram, Threads, and TikTok at CBLU_podcast.
And we are on YouTube I don't know what I picked. Just type in Cowboys Like Us. You'll get
search Cowboys Like Us. You'll find us.
And also,
at least like 36 of you already have, right?
Yeah.
And there's like a fun little graphic for you to look at.
That's true. The Gremlin made some cool images for the videos. So go check those out.
Yep. Or if you have a friend who prefers to acquire their entertainment from YouTube, we support that to just our podcast.
Indeed. Well, I think that's it for this week. We will see you all next week to talk about Shake It Off. But until then, goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye.
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 Pod Gremlin Maybe here. Thanks for listening to Cowboys Like Us. Follow us on all platforms at CBLU_podcast. You can find us on Instagram, X, the zombie Twitter, TikTok, and Threads. We're now posting our episodes on YouTube. Head over there and like and subscribe. All of these links can be found in our link tree in the episode description. Thanks for supporting the pod. Y'all come back now, you hear?